Alrighty, welcome back. I'm your man, Bad Chad. Aiden's got the day off. He's not here today. He comes 3 days a week. Today we're going to do the firewall on the Jaguar and talk about that and how I'm going to do it and go from there. But first, we got some upcoming appearances, and we want to give a shout out to Thunder City Speedway, Thunder Bay, Ontario. And that's coming up August 13th. We're going to be there. We want you to come out and see us. We'll talk to you, have fun, shoot shit about your car. Just talk car things and have a good time is what we want. So August 13th, Thunder City Speedway. Awesome. We're going to be there. And we're not going to be square. November 25th, we're going to be in Houston, Autorama. It's going to be quite something different for us because we've never been to Houston. We're expecting to have a great time, and I'm expecting to see some amazing vehicles, and the reason being is the population brings out more, I would say, more than they're here in Nova Scotia. Houston is quite a big spot from what I understand, and everything's bigger than Houston, Texas, so I'm expecting a huge car show and some really, really awesome builds. That's what I'm expecting. November 25th. And February 22nd, March 5th, we're going to Australia. I'm nervous as a grasshopper in a chicken house to get on that airplane and travel that long, but we're going to go there. Jolene's kind of said, you know, if we don't go, when are we going to go? And basically that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to click my brain in gear and try to get ready for that long flight. And I bet you it's going to be an amazing time. I'm pretty sure it will be. Yeah, so that's some upcoming appearances that we're going to have, and just wanted to let you know that we're going to be in Thunder Bay, Ontario, for the Thunder City Speedway, August 13th. It's coming right up. We want you to come and see us and support their show. But this is what we're going to do today. Today we've got the car sandblasted. The firewall is looking good. You know, the sandblasting looks nice when you do stuff like that. You sandblast it all up, takes all the rust off it, all the paint off it, all that stuff, cleans it really up really nice. And I'm going to show you, if you want to come over here for a second there, Jolene, you can see like the whole car, I've cleaned it up like this, and then we've welded it, and then you grind it, and you get the grind marks and the scratch marks, and you can see where you're whatever. When I weld it all up and I grind it off, then you really can tell what it would look like if you welded it all up and then sandblasted, because I'm going to show you. Right in here, we've got it welded on the outside here, on the outside of the door where it's not ground off yet. But in here I ground it off and then it's been sandblasted. That looks amazing in there to me. Like you barely would even know that it was welded in there. And Aiden did that, obviously. He welded that all up in there. You would barely even know after it's welded and then sandblasted. It does a fantastic job. You can tell even in here how nice that looks and cleans that weld up nice and it cleans it up and just makes it look fantastic. And that's probably some of the reason why I like to sandblast after. Also, if Jolene wants to take a look, well, the dash, we didn't get to show the dash. I kind of explained how we were doing the top of the doors. We did the dash exact same way. I did not grind anything yet. That's what the dash looks like. It's kind of, we kind of peaked it in the center for both people. You can see we went out in the junkyard or out in our little backyard. We got 2 seats in there, and they're from the Pinto that we did for TV. The European Pinto, the one with the Lamborghini doors, the see-through doors. Yeah, I think the Pinto seat fit perfectly. We got the steering hooked up. We didn't show that either. Me and Aiden just kind of got the steering hooked up. We just mocked it up quickly. If there's nothing that's finished, we just got some round bar and hooked it on there, tacked it on the rack and pinion, and we got a steering wheel in it. I want to set in it to show you what it looks like setting in it and how it feels. It feels really, 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 really good. I could drive this car across Canada, no problem whatsoever. And the reason being I could drive across Canada because it's comfortable. The high back seats, the steering wheel is nice where it's at. There's lots of leg room for brake and pedal, and your legs are stretched out nice. I've got some uncomfortable cars, and you can do that by not paying attention what you're doing, by channeling them too much or chopping them too much or whatever. This car has been chopped dramatically, but basically what's going on, the top of the doors are making it look like it's chopped more than it really is. We've got 5 to 6 inches added on top of the doors, and then we got the roof chopped and laid down the back. So basically this is where it's at. Haven't got the dash panel in there yet. The dash is going to come down in here, and then where the gauges will be in here, but we've got it looking good. I'm going to get Jolene to back up, and we'll show you what it looks like when we get the door closed. I think it looks cool. I can imagine driving down the highway and seeing somebody out the window and what they would think. I like how the window is so small, but yet it's perfect for eye height and vision. You know, I can see everything I need to see out the side window. The front window's got, I think, is absolutely perfect vision for me. It feels good. My legs are stretched out good. I think it's really going to be a nice, comfortable hot rod. That's what I feel. It's going to be a nice, comfortable hot rod. She can show inside from that side what it feels like. Steering wheel here, legs are stretched out nice. Brake pedal, dash. Got a little peak going on there. Things are going good. Things are going good. So I'm going to get out of this bad boy. Seats are not bolted down. They're just sitting there. I'm going to get Jolene to check my sound because I was sitting on my arse. And that's generally where I sit, on my arse. So on the firewall, we're going to get going on this. On the firewall, I've made a piece when the engine was in there, and that's just a flat piece with a 90 on each side. I shoved it in there, traced it over the top of the transmission, and that's what we got. Now we've got access hanging over here. That's just going to be cut off and butt welded along the edge there, and then just trim it off, and then butt weld it down there to give that a finished look. We have to make a transmission tunnel yet. We haven't got the rear end lowered in it yet, so we don't really know where I'm going with the drive shaft yet, but we'll get there. Basically what I want to do is by the end of August, I want to get this thing in primer and move on to something else because we're going racing with Jolene's car. That's the 3rd week in August. We're going to go racing, or Jolene is anyways. Jolene looks amazing today. Basically what I'm going to talk about on this part here, where the firewall, I don't want that. 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 I don't want all those. I don't want that. I don't want that. I just don't want all that stuff. It's not necessary for what I'm doing. I don't want any of this cutout here. I don't want that cutout there. I don't want all them holes there. So basically, instead of me going and punching out a bunch of holes, weld that hole up and grind it off and try and get it ground off, and weld that hole up and grind it off and fill it. I'm not doing that. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one piece to cover I'm going to make one piece, and I think it's going to be easier for me to just make one piece from the top here and bring it up over here, cover it all, weld it up, and then we'll go for the smaller pieces after. But that's what I'm going to do. If you are doing a firewall in your car, what can I say? I'm going to say the firewall is a place where you use the metal that, for me, this is where I learned that using different thicknesses of metal. So where I've got the firewall in here, I'm not going to cut all that out and try to replace that and try to butt weld something in there. No, I'm not. It's all sandblasted. It's all cleaned off. Why would I even bother? I'm just going to lay a piece of thinner sheet metal. I'm going to use I think we got a sheet of 22 gauge over there. I'm going to lay that 22 gauge on top of there and just roll it over there nice and do that. If you were going to cut the firewall out and replace it all and go that way with it, what I suggest, or what I've been known to do, is to use thicker metal. So if you have a firewall that's so if you cut your firewall all out, basically what you use, if you want to put beads in it, or if you want to do whatever, generally the bead roller, it obviously stretches your metal. You're putting grooves in it or marks in it or whatever. If you're not doing it exactly the way, if you're not stretching your metal and then putting the bead in it, your metal's kind of twisted and all that sort of stuff. So when it comes time you weld in, it's all distorted. It doesn't go in that well. So that's when I use thicker metal. So if I was going to do a firewall and I was going to cut this all out and I wanted to make it smooth it off, throw a piece of 14 gauge, throw a piece of 16 gauge and weld it in there and make a flat firewall. And then you've got no warpage. It's nice, flat, smooth. Or I'm not saying it doesn't warp, I'm just saying you can do it without warping it. I'm just going to draw this line a little bit better here. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm just making a pattern out of Bristol board like I always do. And as I'm going to roll this off here for a second, I'm going to take this off for a second and show you. Where'd that go? So basically you have to make up your mind. You have to make up your mind where you're going to do it. In here, there's nothing wrong with in here. I don't have to go in there. But what I see is being able to weld it up this here, and I see welding it along this edge here, all the way along here. And the reason being is when I weld it on there, I'll be able to grind it off nice and hardly use any filler to fix it. If I take and weld it up through, if I try to get all this here, it'd be quite a job to make all that. I'm trying to simplify, but yet make the firewall flat and smooth, basically is what I'm trying to do. And what I figured out is I like this edge all the way around to do that. On something like this down here, I haven't got there yet. But I've got a hole there, I've got a hole there, hole there, hole there, hole there, 2 holes there. I got all them holes there. Basically, I'm probably just going to take and make a flat piece of metal, weld it along this edge here, tack the firewall on, make this piece here, make one piece, fit this and cover it all, and then I'll weld them both together at the same time down there. I don't probably do the exact same thing over there on that side because I've done on this side, but the firewall will look much better with it covered off, and because I'm not going to use all them holes, and I'm not cutting it out to replace it. I'm just going to go over top of it because I don't think there's any need. So I'm going to make this piece, and I'm going to do it right in front of your eyes. So all I'm going to do right now is I'm going to make the pattern, and then you know what happens from there. Once you make the pattern, we trace it over to the piece of metal, and then we, basically do that. As you can see in here on the corner here, it does not fit. It does not fit. And what I'm going to do is I got this distance down here. I'm just going to take and make that distance up here and try to make it fit. So I got that distance there. I'm going to take that distance and put it up here. As you can see, I'm just going to draw that line there. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other one. Hope that makes sense. I'm going to have to get some tape. These magnets are awesome. I think we got them from a gift from a fan, which is awesome. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Don't we, baby? We appreciate it. But I got the exact same thing going on over here. So I'm going to take and see where I'm going to weld that up there. I'm going to take the exact same distance. I'm going to cut that off. See if I can get that to fit better. No, I am going to get it to fit better. That's all there is to it. So, once I get the pattern, I'm going to take from this corner, it had the gap, I'm just going to go straight up. Ooh, them are dull. Just going to go a little further than I had to. Let's shove that bad boy down in there. Going to have to go a little bit further, I guess. Now we get that fitting really nice down in there because I took that piece off. I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other side, and it only takes a minute. So the reason I'm going to use thinner metal on this is because there's going to be metal in behind there, and it's not going to warp or anything or go all crazy on me because I've got metal in behind it to hold it. Now if I have no metal in there, that's when I would go to the thicker metal to make sure that it doesn't, or make sure that it would not warp, or try not to warp. You can throw beads in it, but generally the old bead roller does not. The old bead roller can throw you a curveball because it can do more damage than you think you're doing. It really can warp it up quite heavy. That's nice and tight in there. That one's nice and tight in there. They call that tight and right. Just pull it up a little bit. Got a little thing going on there. Nope, I'm going to put it down just a little bit. We're good. So we're just going to weld it right along the top of that. I'm going to get some tape. Probably should have got that first. Got some tape right here. Some cheap stuff. I'm actually just going to tape it down there. I'm going to leave it like that so I can see what's going on. Going to put my glasses back on. You can see how the firewall is going to look already, just having that on there. How many holes I filled by just making one pattern. If you go and try to make that. Now I'm just going to look on the back side here. I can probably trace it from the back side, a little bit of it. Nope. How do I want to do this? I got to try to get the best pattern I can, just because it's got my right fingers on, dirty ones. It's not really that dirty, but I'm just going to make a pattern here across the top. That's where the hood ends. I should make sure it's nice and tight. No, it wasn't tight, was it? Now, I am scared I'm not getting that right, to be honest with you. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to, this is what I'm going to do. Yeah. And what can happen is, that goes along there, you can see there. We're just going to cut that right straight up. Now once I get the firewall on, then I can trim it. Like when I get the firewall on, get it tacked on there, or I can trim this as I get going. Magnets are nice. Get a razor blade and cut that. Don't really want to stand on the frame and get it dirty, but I guess it doesn't much matter. Got that one cut off, no problem. Okay, so now I can see that better, where the metal is. I can see this up in here. I can see that up in there. And what I know, okay, this is what's going on. I'll pull this apart. It wants to come together a little bit better up the top here. issue. Might have to put it in 2 pieces. Can't see it though. Let's get our groove here. Get our groove here. Get our groove on, they call that. Hard to believe. The old scissors of that doll, but there. Okay. I think I'd like to weld that down in front of that line there. And I might have to put this on in 2 pieces and weld it up the center. It seems like it's got a little bit of this going on, this shape here. And I wouldn't want to spend mega amounts of hours trying to put that shape in there when I can just split it in half and weld it up the center. I want to take this tape off. So I want to lay this one in. I want to cut this off. The reason I want to cut it off because it's bunching on me. I don't want it to bunch on me. And remember, any place that your pattern is off, just fix it before, fix it before you trace it on your card. When you're tracing this on your metal, that's when you fix it. If I have any place that I'm off when I'm making a pattern, I fix it before I mark it on my metal. So I'm tight up in there. I'll make sure I cut that all off before I go in there. This here, I'm gonna have to. Trying to get it fit the best I can. You see I got too much up in there. Yeah, it's easier to cut from this side. It's not being as easy as it looks, but that's okay. Just take some more time. Nope. A little more. Good, looks good. Happy with that. Now this piece. It's laying down nice. Do it again. Take a little more off. And I guess when you're doing this, is try to find the best place to weld it on to make it look the best, I guess. And what I'm thinking is right underneath that lip is the best place for me. Yeah, I cut it that way, but I can make that straight with a ruler. I'm thinking the best place to weld it would be right in front of that lip there, because the hood goes in behind. All right. And that's my can make it out of 2 pieces. What I would do is cut it in the center, put 1 piece on, zip cut it together. That would come down, that would come down. Looks like a little bit of bunching going on there. That's fine. I'm going to draw this a little bit better because I can see it. I'm going to bring that down to the edge. Something's squeaking. Come over here a little bit further. Basically just trying to get it on the edge of the metal. And that way there, when we weld it on, it'll grind off easy. Go do the other side. Basically. And then when we get it tacked on there, we'll use our hammer, and we'll tack it on. And then when we tack it on, we'll be able to knock it down on the edge to tighten it up really tight on the firewall itself. In any place that needs to be shrunken, if you knew what I'm talking about, being shrunk, if I got any place that's kind of buckling on it at all, that's when you zip cut it. Lay 1 piece down, lay another piece over, beat the other piece over top it, and then zip cut it again, and then weld it back together. Because it could actually, need shrinking in places to put this firewall on. I see that I've got a bunch of haggle going on there. What I would do when I mark this on my metal, I'll mark it on that corner there. Centers here. Centers here. What I'll do is I'll take when I lay this pattern on, just for instance, this one here is nice and straight, this cutting this one the wrong way should have cut it that way. So for instance, when I go to mark this on my metal, I will take and mark it up this edge here. I'll go from there, I'll know that point there. I'll mark this point right here, and then I'll take a ruler and straighten that. You know what I mean? It's that simple. Like, I know that doesn't look good for a pattern, but I'll fix it as I rock and roll. Also, it might need the center cut. I'm not sure. I'm going to pull this bad boy off. I'm going to cut this. I'm going to cut that. I've got it taped down. That's why it's holding. I'm going to throw a little tape on the back side. So you can do it any way you want to, but the only reason I am doing it this way, the only reason I am, not going to take the time to fill all them holes and weld them all up and grind them off, is because of the time. So now I've got 1 piece here, and it does look like it's kind of crimpled in the middle, like it's kind of got you can see it like this. You see it, sweetheart? Baby looking at me. I'm going to take and I might end up making this in 2 pieces to make sure that it doesn't have too much metal in the middle. Just want to get a clean look on the firewall, that's all. You know what I'm trying to tell you. So now we're down on that edge. You can see where I'm down there on that edge where I'm going to weld that on there. We're welding it right up the edge here and right along the bottom there. We'll put another piece on there, but we'll be able to grind that off nice when we get to there. We got a nice one over here. We can weld that on the edge. It's got a little different shape on this one, but that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. We're good. We're good. We're good. I'm thinking that is center. I'm thinking that just by the shape of the metal we have. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this out, make it one piece. I'm going to lay this flat, make it one piece, so it's going to really do something there. It's going to actually, and if I can't put it on in one piece, we'll roll it through the, you can see how it's gathering there. It's going to need to be cut. So I'm going to push it out flat, make it one piece, and then we'll cut it down to the center and make it two pieces. So we'll have it peaked in the center a little bit because it's kind of got this shape to it here. That's what I'm going to do. From here on in, I'll take a ruler. When I put it on the metal, I'll do this. Put my ruler here, put my ruler to there, and I'll make sure I draw a straight line, not all that jagged edge, basically. That's how simple that is. So, is this not over 4 feet? I can roll that in there. We got 4 feet, obviously, because that's what it is. I can roll the piece in there, or you can just put it on anything, like a tank, any kind of propane tank or acetylene tank or whatever to roll that top edge. Or we can go to the Gene Winfield metal station and put our metal in there and roll it over the top, which I can do to get this part. Because I am, you can see how it's going like that. I am going to make this in 2 pieces because it's not going to go together right for me. I'm hoping that I got 1 piece of metal there. Oh, it's so close. Let's see what goes on. This is just a thin piece of metal. I think it's 22 gauge, and I used it for Jolene's door cards. And I feel like I'm going to use it on the firewall because there's no warpage that's going to go on. I'm not looking for structure. I'm looking for coverage. Keep your fingers crossed. We'll get her one way or the other, hopefully. Oh yeah, we'll get her. Ha ha! Did you see that? That baby's good. My baby's good. Just cutting off corners, you know, see that? That's cutting, huh? Just cutting off corners. Just little bits of corners. I can. Jolene said it right. What I'm going to do is, to get it, I'm going to cut this in half and make 2 pieces. I'm going to measure that. And what I'll do, and instead of making it right on the money, thanks, Jolene. My brain wasn't there for a second. But anyways, as I cut that in half, I'm going to measure that and find center on the bottom. I know where center is on the top. I think I do anyways. I'm going to cut it in half, but I'm going to add a little bit to it. So if we got 49 and a half, what is it, sweetheart? Do you know? 49 and a half, we'll say 50. 24 3/4. 24 3/4. probably see if that's center up there. Well, I don't know if it's center or not because I just cut it by 38 and a half.
19 and a quarter.
I'm off, I say by a quarter, but I don't really know if I'm off by a quarter because of, and I'm just going to add some onto that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this in half, and then I'll add a ½ inch on each one. I add a ½ inch on this piece, a ½ inch on this piece, so I know I got enough when I cut it together. So basically I'm going to end up putting one side on, getting fitted, then I'm going to put the other side on, and then I'm going to cut it up through the center and butt weld it. And that will get rid of 75 holes. What? It's true. There's about 75 holes there, isn't there? So here's one pattern. Jolene even threw down the gauntlet for me, threw down the magnet, and nailed it right on, didn't it, baby? You're a badass. Jolene's a badass. And beautiful. I always go to the straight edge. Aiden got very sharp at that the other day. He learns so fast, Aiden does. He went to the straight edge to, when he drew his patterns on for the top of the doors, if you notice he used a straight edge both times. You really got to, you know, you're saving a cut when you're using a straight edge. And that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to use a straight edge, save a cut on this one. So it does not matter if my pattern's a little bit big, and we already know why, because I can trim it back. It does not have to fit perfectly. It does before you weld it though. Let's get that straight. You know, before you weld it, you should have a nice, we're going to make this a little bit bigger. Just a ½ inch so. Cut it down here straight. I'm going to make this line straight across the top. Just going to take it to its, we can always trim it back, but I'd rather have, I'm going to make it ½ inch longer in the center so we have something that we can come to and trim off. We'll keep this one. I'm not really liking, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put a mark here. I'm going to put a mark here. And then draw it off. I don't like that line. I'll have to trim that off again at the top. If you know what I'm trying to say, it won't fit up in there, I don't think. So what I'm going to do is I'm take it and do that. And use the line there. Like I said, just use this line and that line. So I'm fixing the pattern as I just take a little bit off the top. I got an extra ½ inch there, an extra ½ inch there. So we'll put one side on at a time. I'm going to, how am I going to cut that? Are we going that far? Alrighty. I'm going to, how do I want to cut that? Turn the plasma cutter on, put in the shear and cut it that way would be nice. Because it's too long. It's too long for my shear. So, that's what I'm going to do. Leave it there for a second. I got a pair of metal shears here that I can use to cut that, I'm figuring. See which one's got the best teeth on it. I guess it doesn't much matter. They're both kind of wrecked. I'm just going to get it close, and then I'm going to take it over to the metal shear. I've got enough. I'll have to go behind you, sweetheart. Back here. Once I get the metal small enough, I'll be able to put it through my metal shear to make it straight. Just got to get it cut in half and sectioned up. That's why I'm using this metal shear here. I find these kind of stretch the edge a bit. I don't want that stretched right now. I sort of want it. Actually didn't do bad there. Didn't do bad at all. Probably should have just cut them, but I didn't. I thought it would ruin the edge. I guess the metal's thin enough that it's not stretching it, but I can use my shear here. I just got a 3-foot shear, and if you need a straight line, it's nice for that. You can never have too many ways. You can never have too many ways to cut metal. Never have too many ways. Actually, this one first. Wow, that cuts like butter. Cuts like butter. I want a straight edge to finish that where that mark is. That's not straight. I'm going to grab the ruler for a second. When I look down through the shear, the line's not finished on the mark, so it's hard to see it. So I just want to finish the line. What I'm saying is this line right here is not finished. There I can make a better judgment call when I cut it off. I don't think it'd be worth screwing it up. And in the end, a person would have to figure out how long would it take to do all them holes, or how long would it take to do it this way? That's what you have to figure out to know if you're going ahead or not. That's what I generally do. Try to figure if you're going ahead or not. And the video here will tell me how long I was talking and how long it took me to make the pieces. And then I can figure out how many holes there were and how long it would take me to fill every hole and grind every hole off. It's not real straight, is it? That's okay, because we're going to straighten it out. Not bad. I'm going to use this. I think it'd be easier just to use this. I'm going to try it. Work nice. They do work fairly decent. You can buy them at Princess Auto. They do work fairly decent when the teeth are good, but I've got them all chewed up. Quite an edge on it there, and it's sharp. So we got one piece. I basically could probably almost bend it right on there. I can do that. Metal's fairly pliable. Didn't quite bent in the right spot, did I? Just pretty thin stuff, so I can bend it by hand. So I'll put one piece on. Do we keep going? Okay. Just wasn't expecting to you say yes, go for it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tack one piece on. I just turn the welder on, tack it on, push it on. We'll go from there. We'll go from there. Alrighty. Which one's? This one's plugged in. It's a hot one here, man. It's a hot one. Whoop, whoop, it's a hot one. Alrighty, I'm going to, nope, I'm going to do it on that side, it'll be in my way. Turn the welder on. Didn't want to turn on, did it? Huh? It's all the way open? All the way open. Alrighty, so this is 22 gauge, very pliable stuff. Like you can bend it very easy. Very easy, as you could tell, I bent it very easily there. What I don't like is I got a little bend on it right there that I didn't quite pay attention. I bent it too quick. Just kind of like it's so thin that it bent. I'm not used to using sheet metal this thin, but I'm going to use it here. And the reason being, it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. We're using it to cover holes, is what we're using it for, to cover holes. I'm going to tack it. So we're tight up in there, place to weld it. Just bumped it so I can see, or I want to get the third arm, push that up in there, tight. Anytime I bump the welder, it's for the visual, so I can see what I'm doing and see what you're doing. Didn't visualize it there too good, did I? Good. Tack it in here. Now, I want to, it's on there tight. In the center, I'm sort of going to leave, well, see what happens there. I'm going to have to, ouch, 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 that's sharp. Don't want to dent my metal, man. Don't want to dent my metal. See how that's already causing me an issue? I'm basically going to tack it on anyways. I'm thinking that. Wow, so thin. Alrighty. Holding her tight there, isn't it? I might have to take that off. I got a funny shape going on here. I want this side to fit first. If I have any issues at all, I'll untack it and take it off. I see that I got an issue right here in the center. I know that. Not yet though. Alrighty. Now I'm going to get a hammer. Got it. How tight that is, just a little spot like that. Put the dent in that metal. It's probably why I don't use it a lot. Good stuff. I'm probably going to have to slice that, take some out of that. It's got too much metal right here. You can see how it's buckled up. I don't want to hit this metal at all. Not really. We're hard against. All right. It is not doing what I want it to do right at the present second. Don't like how that's... That's fine, I can grind. I'm going to have to split this here and lay it over top. I feel like I'm not going to butt weld this metal together. It's too thin. Or it's not too thin, but I'm not going to butt weld it together. I'm just going to lay it over top and weld it there because I feel like it's thin enough. You can see how easy it is to manipulate. Don't like the little dents I got going on there. Don't like that. Not used to that. I'm going to cut it though. You can shut that off if you want, sweetheart. Nope, I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut it. And I have to cut it because I feel like I have to cut it. Being a little more difficult than I thought. Well, not difficult. I just have to do a few more things to it than I thought I'd have to. Other than I didn't want to do a bunch of cuts in it, but it looks like I'm going to have to cut it to make it work. And that's okay. I think I said right before we started that if I had to shrink it, I would really cut it. And that's what I'm going to do. Play the tape back. Did I say if I cut it, if I had to shrink it? There you go. If I have to shrink it, I got to cut it. So I'm going to cut it on the edge there. I don't like all them little dents on the edge there. I don't like it, but what is what it is. Just pushing on that metal seems to cause damage. Wow. So this is the right here I don't like, but anyways, I'm going to cut this. It's puckered here. You can see the pucker right there. I'm going to cut it across and see if I can lay that down. It's got too much metal. I'm going to lay it down. And then I'm going to lay the other piece right over top because the stuff is thin enough that I think it's going to work, not a problem. Don't want to go any further than that. And don't even know if that did the trick. Oh yeah, that did the trick all right. Oh. I got one end up too high too fast. Got a pair of clamps. So as you can see, sometimes I got that, it's buckling there, not going so good, not going so good. Going to tighten that up. Ah. That's okay. Stop it. Stop it. It's going to have to be pushed in. You can see how it's going to have to be zip cut again and weld it. That's going to have to be knocked off. Got too much metal going on there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that back on. It's going good along there, so I just nailed it down. And what's not going good is I'm going to nail that. I'd like to make that little, that's fine. That's fine. Got too much metal here right now, so I have to shrink that. So what it tells me is we got a bunch of shape going on that firewall. There's a bunch of shape going on. And what I'm doing is I'm shrinking it to make the metal work. I'll knock them in or grind them off after. So I'm going to push one down. So I want more. I think I want a little bit more. No, I'm going to have to use this. Let my hammer go. Now, I'm going to push this one down. All right. There's a piece of weld there. I must have welded a pinhole or something. I got to knock it off because it won't sit flat. Knock that down a little bit. Now you can see when I go to put this other one down on top, it's over above it. So that means we're going to take some metal out of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it down, zip cut it, and then take some metal out. You watch. See how it crosses over like that? Piece of metal in there. Get that out. Okay. I'm going to tack this down. Now, I'm going to take the hammer and I'll bring this together. Better go easy or I'll have a big dent in it. Just want to slice it a little bit further. Just going to take a little. Comes right back tight. Good. Now we got to do the exact same thing with this one. I'm going to take a pair of vice grips. Don't like that. I know how I'm going to fix it though. I'll flapper wheel it. Flapper wheel it. Now, take this. Actually, I'm going to take these. This has got a laid off shape here. This has got a sharper shape here than that. I'm going to take my vice grips. We'll put that together. And then I'll zip it. And I'm following the line. Take and knock this. I actually should let that come out some. Take that off. Now, hopefully I can get that back together. I like how this looks. I can weld that up and buff that off so you can't tell. It's nice. I like it. I like it. Hammer. Vice grips hold this back together. It's just crazy. What I'm saying crazy is how here, we'll pry that together. It's nice. Make this fit. Fina's doing her job. What's that? Oh yeah. I think we have a different shape going on here. Whoever uses 22 gauge, I congratulate you. Don't like hammering that much, to be honest with you. Don't like doing that. I don't like it. Alrighty. That piece there is fine going in there, fine. That's going in there, fine. I don't like this. So I'm going to do this. Flapper wheel. Take them little tips off. So now what I got to do is I got to make the other piece fit that piece. And basically what I'm trying to do is do as nicest job as I can so I don't have to do a bunch of filler work is basically what I'm trying to do. What I know right now as I'm putting this on, as I'm getting this go here, I've got a different shape because this box is over here, it ends here, so that's why I'm kind of sucked in there. Maybe I might have should have left it where it should have been, out a little bit, but this box right here was fooling me. That box ends here and it's not in the center of the car. The box, this opening is more over there. But let's do it again. This right here needs to be shaved off. It's going okay. I'm not all whacked out of shape yet. It's going okay. And I'm using this metal because it was over there, and that's basically it. I'm using it because it was over there. I wouldn't have bought it for this job, but where there's metal in behind it, I should be fine. I should be fine. Ooh, that's good. I like it. And the reason I say I like it is because it's overlapped here a little ways. And I'm going to leave it overlapped because that is not going to hurt me by no means whatsoever. I'm going to take a little chunk out of it right here. I don't think I have to, but... And the reason I'm looking at it, because, no, that's fine. I can put my weld in there, that's fine. Well, I know how I'm going to do this piece, I think. What I'm going to do is stick this piece on. I'm going to stick it on so it's on there straight where I want this bottom piece. Then I'm going to tack it up here and roll this piece on, then try to roll that side. Hopefully I can get a good job. Hopefully I can get a good job. Look at that, Jolene's right. Woo! She's badass, that's Jolene, man. She's my lady. Alrighty. I got that in there where I want it. Wouldn't mind. It's right where I want it, I think. I do want a piece out of that. Right here. Beautiful. You are joined. Beautiful. Zip that off. All right. It's too nice there not to touch it, not to tack it on. In the center first. You basically need to zip cut that little weld back there a little bit. And the reason being, it's holding me out just a little tiny bit. Perfect. Perfect, I say, perfect. It doesn't fit right when you're doing it. Just take it off and do it again. That's why we spot weld things together. As I'm doing this, I got this all going, I got this going nice and flat. I might as well continue right over and tack this piece on because this is nice and flat. Get. Put that on. This is nice and flat. Seems to be. Alrighty, this one should maybe one a little bit better this time. Whoop whoop, I think it is. I'm going to and smooth them two pieces of weld off. I'm going to overlap that. I'm going to overlap it. Trying to buff the weld off. Still weld it, just want to flap it off so I can lay this piece down on top of it. This has turned out to be something more trying than I figured. How's that? That's a good thing. Reason being is, that fits good there. I'm going to nail it. Awesome. Right in the center too, good. Don't like pushing on that, just pushing on that, just very slightly causes issues. Don't like it. Make sure it sticks, that's all. Making sure it sticks. It's just funny how easy that metal, you know what I mean? Like, wow. Yeah, anybody? Little dent that'll go in there. Hey, Timbo. Hey, putting fairing on, or what you call it today? I'm right with you, just doing this little firewall thing here. Haha! And this is a struggle, believe me. This is a struggle. I'm just gonna. Well, that probably wouldn't do me justice, but I'm going to tack it in the center. Had to hold. Come on. Had to hold it somewhere. Now, yep, this is a true life struggle right here. I gotta get my hammer. True life struggle. This piece went on. I guess what I'm finding out is when I come over here in that hole where maybe I should have put, I'm not sure, right this present moment. But what I am going to say is it's going to turn out good. I'm knocking these on because they're tight. Welder might be turned up. They're tight. It's tight there, and I want it to stay tight. That's all going. I'm going to nail this one on. Pissed off. That's okay. Yeah, it's going to continue up through. I'm going to push this one on. Might have to zip the top, I see. I have to take that off, I'm not sure. Love it. So go off the end over here. Back down on it again. I'll turn that welder down just a hair. I'd turn it like just down like 5.5 or something. Just kind of beautiful. Keep that. That little tiny dent he's putting in that metal. That bothers me. Bothers me. I don't like it. Try this out. Now you've got to. Cool. Make this one look a little better over here. Tight. Now we've got a little issue going on here. Alright. You see it buckling right there. I'm going to put that down and then I'm going to split it. Because there's too much metal there and I'm not going backwards on this one. I'm not going backwards. I'm going to take it, knock this on, work this down tight. Put it on there good. A little cut split, see that buckle? Let's get rid of it. It needs to be shrunk. Tap one side on, knock the one side on, and the one corner on, and then we'll just take some metal out of it, shrink it. Now we know that there's too much metal there, because it buckles. If I tap that down over, this metal is going to go over top of that, and so I'm just going to take a little metal off it. Fits there together there now. Put that down in there tight. Weld that up, grind it off, and you never know I did it. And that's how I shrunk that piece of metal. Or that buckle. Anytime something buckles, you obviously know that you've got too much metal. Alrighty. Make sure it's tight together for you. There's too much metal there, and you keep going. Just slit it back further, and then do it again. Just feed it in. So I had a couple issues with a couple pieces there, but I did what I had to do to get it on there. We haven't got a whole bunch of damage, and what I mean by damage, I don't like denting the metal or hitting the metal or anything like that. We got a little bit here where I have to butt weld it back together. We're butt welding it, so we should be able to grind it off. There's a gap there. Should be able to grind it off so you can't tell. Down around here at the edge, That's not an issue. Make that tight right. It's not an issue at all there. Down around that edge, not an issue at all. But now we've got that firewall covered. You can see how it's going to come together. I overlapped it here because, to be honest with you, for me to try to butt weld that together and make that work, I probably would have had more of an issue than I was going for. But I'm just going to play with it a little bit, tap it here, tap it there, and it should work out just right. So, how long are we?
I don't know, my other phone died, so.
Oh.
I'm not sure.
Little camera issues, camera issues. So basically we got probably an hour invested in putting that on there. And it would took way more than an hour to fill 70 holes. So I'm thinking that we're way further ahead to do it this way. What am I gonna say? Take what you like, throw away what you don't. But when it comes to that firewall, they can be an issue because where to go, where not to go, how to do it, how thick a metal to use, whatever. I just took my grain and used the metal that I had over there in the corner, over in the building, the corner. It was a thinner metal. I was not going to cut all that out and try to fabricate a new firewall when I could just sandblast and put this piece over top of it. I'm just looking to cover all the holes up. That's all I'm looking to do. And I think it actually turned out quite nice, other than a few pieces that we had to shrink. And other than that, it's butt welded together. Everything's fantastic. I got a few more holes to cover, and you can see basically how simple that's going to be to make that look nice. Have a good one, everybody. See you tomorrow.